Hello, everyone, and welcome to Veterans in Crisis podcast. Today we have Nigel Wilson, and he is the Chief Executive of Gentoo company. Thanks for coming, Nigel. Thanks for taking part in from the top of the pier.
Yeah, the lighthouse keeps appearing over my shoulder or in my ear. I think
it's the ship on your left hand side. I'm looking at, mate, just in case it gets too close.
It's weighed anchor. We're all right.
I'd say it's like I've done a few of these Zoom interviews and I've never seen that before. So that's just something you can pick up on. I'll after this is finished, I'll just ask you how it's done, and then you can ask whoever done it.
Yeah, no, I did it myself. It has to be said. The Zoom has got some pre ones, but you can also go into your photos, and this is one I found on Twitter. I think one of the professional photographers had taken it.
So you can just do it off your photographs.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. So I can put a VIX thing behind us, kind of.
Yeah.
Why didn't you come on weeks ago, and then I could have been there all the time? You
know? should have invited me. I'd have been here.
Right. So, obviously, we've got a really strong partnership, Veterans in Crisis and Gentoo. It started off when I started VIX 2.5 years ago now. I met a guy called Michael Barker, and he runs like the 3Ls, you call them, down in the East End. Got on really well with Michael, and then he helped us sort of house veterans in a really quick sort of turnover, which was mutually beneficial for us and also Gentoo, because they were hard to rent properties, and we could guarantee that we would support people once they were in there, so we weren't just giving you nuisance tenants, you know. That sort of snowballed, and I think early stages, you were talking some like 10 clients got housed there straight away. I mean, I'd be lying if I said exactly, but it's more than 30 or 40 years of house now in the 2 year. And to somebody like us, such a small sort of community interest company, that's huge.
No, and I think, I've been working with Gentoo and in Sunderland now for the last 18 months. And I think one of the things that I've really appreciated and grow to understand in the time here is the importance of those interrelationships with organisations like yours and the Fans Museum and other places, which are all part of the community of Sunderland. You know, Sunderland's got an incredible history in terms of working with all the services. And I think it's really important that we play our role in that and working with your organisation and others to understand that, to make sure, certainly when people have come out of the services, they're getting the support that you provide, but also we're helping them find the accommodation they need. Because it's easy to say we can get you a flat. What's important is to get them the support they need to keep that place to live in and feel safe and secure in it, and to be part of a community. Because being isolated, being vulnerable is not a good place to be for anybody, I don't think. And I think for us, it's about, it's part of our civic duty, I think, to make sure we're providing that support and help and working with organisations like yours to do that. I think, we've all gone through a very strange period in the last sort of 3 months of lockdown and everything else. And yes, we're starting to come out of it. And I've just been looking at the highlights of what the Chancellor's been saying to try and stimulate the economy. But I think we're all a bit anxious in Sunderland about what's that going to mean for our economy here and for many of our tenants and for the people who are coming out of the furlough scheme and various other things. So I think, again, I spoke to Graham Miller, the leader of the council, the other week, and he was saying how well the council and the community had done, the voluntary sector organisations like yours, to all really look after people in Sunderland and pull together. But we're going to have another challenge going forward, I think, as we come out of this, as people face some difficult personal circumstances and as businesses face up to the challenges. Because I think we just know this is going to be a tough battle, I think. And I think it requires us all to work together.
I think it's going to be a tough couple of years, to be honest. I don't think it's going to be a quick fix, and I think things is going to definitely get worse before they get better. For the likes of small community interest companies like us, we're assuming that there'll be no money, because of what's happened. Money will have to be spent elsewhere. So we're going to have to find our own revenue. We're going to have to box clever, if you like, and try and get ahead of the game if we can, and think of our next sort of venture. Once we've bought this building, or once we've started the process of buying it, when we're hoping we can sort of branch out and do other things.
Yeah, and I think I think we've helped provide that support through the Empower grant, and it's only small sums of money, but those small sums make a big difference to smaller organisations. And I think we've got to, as with everybody else, manage our income and expenditure. It's really important, but I'm really keen that we do that in a way that brings as much benefit to other businesses and organisations around Sunderland as we can, and think creatively. We need to do that, because, as you say, the next year, the next 2 years are going to be challenging. We've got a big hill to climb, I think, to come out the other side.
I mean, like you mentioned there, the funding you give us, the first bit of funding we ever got for the whole of Vix was an Aspire grant. It was 500 quid given by yourselves, and we took the clients down to Eden Camp, which is a Second World War museum. Loved it, absolutely loved it. And I always remember being really kind of proud of that being the first bit of funding that I'd ever received, like of anything,
Yeah.
So it always sticks in my mind that.
No, and I think it's easy sometimes to think, oh well, they're not big lumps of money, but they make a big difference. And I think one of the things I'm really keen that we do as Gentoo is make sure we continue those grant programs, but also that we collect the experience they create, whatever it is, whatever they help to do, because I think replaying that back out is a way of inspiring other people to think, well, we could do that, or I could do this. And I think we want to do more of that. We want to get more people involved and engaged in things. And I think certainly discussions I've had with the council about how we can work collaboratively around the voluntary and community sector is so important. As I say, all those organisations have played a really important role during COVID and continue to, but we've got to think, as you said, how we can support those when the pound that used to be there is now 50p, let's say. It's about how do we stretch that in the best way we can? How do we get more interest in that? Because rattling the tins is going to get harder and harder as people have got less in their pockets, and that's just the way of the world.
I think that is, everyone's going to notice that. You can't really ask people for money if they haven't got it. The community have been really kind to us, and they've given us money whenever we've needed, and it just so happens that we started fundraising for the building, and then this happened. So you can't really pressure people that haven't got anything to give you, So we're hoping we could get some funding to go towards the building. If not, we're just gonna have to get a mortgage like everyone else, I didn't want to go down that road, because when we get money in, we give it out. So if we get £10, we give £10 away. What I didn't want to is then having big costs to pay out and the clients suffer because of it, especially because the way things is going to be. I mean, we give food parcels out every single day. I mean, today, for instance, so I had a guy who was street homeless. Within 2 weeks, we managed to get him into Gentoo property. Moved in this week. Today, I'm dropping these bits of furniture off, food parcel, absolutely over the moon. He's had a horrendous 2 weeks being street homeless, sleeping on people's settees, and and by just our great partnership, really, things have moved so quick, and that's being able to pick up the phone to the right people to get things sorted straight away. It's invaluable it is.
And Sunderland is a great city, and it's not a huge place, but making sure those connections work really well, that everybody understands how we can interrelate, that we can make these things happen as quickly and as fairly as possible, is really important. I think it's often easy to lose sight of that in the hubbub of life, that there are human stories here that really matter. And that, as you said, that gentleman who needed that support. And I did some volunteering during lockdown at the food bank in Sunderland, and just to see the scale of donations that was being made by people. And I think, you said, people will give you their last tin of beans. You know what I mean? Because they know it matters, and putting those packages together and seeing how much was going through on a daily basis was just huge. But you do. I was saying to the guy who runs it, I was saying, he said, what would happen if we weren't here? And you do worry about that because it is desperate that in 2020 people are relying on free food, but that's where we are. We can criticize it, but for me it's about how do we make sure those wheels keep turning and folk get what they need.
So I'm taking it you're not from Sunderland, because you keep saying when you come to Sunderland.
No, I was born in Lancashire and have spent my previous 13 years working in Manchester. Lived in Staffordshire, commuted every day for 100 miles a day there and back for 13 years, which was a bit mad, really. But loved working in Manchester, but got the opportunity to apply for this job. And my family and I have relocated here last year. And as I said, I've been here 18 months and absolutely love the Northeast. I came up here many years ago with my parents on a holiday to see houses. I remember it well, in a little cottage. But really didn't know the Northeast at all. But we've all absolutely loved it. We think it's a great part of the world. It's a lovely sense of space. None of the congestion that anybody who's spent as long as I had up and down the M6 understand traffic jams. So I have to laugh when folk go, "Oh, traffic were bad today." No, I said that's 5 cars. That's not a traffic jam.
It's not nice when you got to commute. Like, it's not nice at all. I'm really lucky. I'm 5 minutes away from work. Like 5 minutes. It's great. I'm pop home and pop back. It's it's now. Yeah. And to think of driving 100 miles a day, I wouldn't fancy that. Like.
No, I just got used to it. And I think my dad was a lorry driver all his working life, so there was probably something in the blood that sort of made the road not feel strange. But now I'm 20 minutes from home into the office. It's an absolute breeze. It's lovely.
So have you always been into housing then?
Yeah, been working in housing for over 35 years. So one way or another. So you started off as a housing officer and just sort of worked my way up through the ranks, as it were.
Well, you have done us a massive favour by supplying lockups for us, because it's all right getting people somewhere to live, but if they haven't got anything to put in it, that's another problem straight away. So we were relying on basically getting donations on the day people were moving in, which it's not feasible, So you supplied us with lockups, and I can't thank you enough, because we can take stuff and it's there ready for people. We did fill the house on Friday, doing another one today. We've got another one at the weekend, one on Friday as well. So it just shows you the help that you give by I'm not saying it's nothing to use, but that small thing that you did for us helps so many people.
But it helps us as well, because if we got people living in our homes, occupying them, we're collecting rent, it's a virtuous circle in that sense. And I've been in too many homes when people have not had the things they need, whether it's furniture or whatever. And I work with a charity in Liverpool as a volunteer in Furniture Resource Centre, and it provides furniture packages for people around the country, really. But one of the things we've always said is that furniture poverty is as bad as food poverty and energy poverty, in the sense of, if you've got nothing in your cupboards to eat, if you can't afford to put the electric on, but if you've got nothing to sleep on or sit on, or, if you've got children and they haven't got anywhere to do their homework, that's as bad. And, and you'll have seen it, I've seen it. Too often people have been trapped into these bright house places where they go, I need to buy something, and it costs a fortune. So, anything we can do to support that is good news for me.
I once did some training with that company in particular. When they were not with them, but the training was about them. And one of the examples was, if you'd bought, at the time it was a 50-inch telly, and you never paid any payments back, it cost £1 million. That's how much it snowballed for a 50-inch telly, £1 million.
It's bonkers. I mean, those perfect home bright house places, which are now, you don't want to see anybody struggling, but those those models of how they did business on the pay weekly was with interest rates of 4,500%. It was just leeching on people who couldn't afford stuff and putting them into more debt.
More
It's
debt,
just not right.
and it's a constant struggle, isn't it? Constant
Yeah.
struggle once you're in it. We get given stuff that people could quite easily sell. You know, it's in that good condition, and it surprises us every day when people say, "I've got this. I could put it on eBay. I could sell it, whatever. But yous can have it." You know, so it goes to good use, and people really appreciate that. You know, when you turn up, and some of the clients' faces when we're like got this massive American fridge, or you know something. They kind of believe the look that somebody, or I mean, people change TVs really regularly now. So
there's no market for a second-hand telly, is there?
Yeah, 50-inch tellies. You know, that would have cost you £1 million at the other firm. You know, now we're getting it for free. Just so crazy, like. We met when you presented us with an award, and you remember that? That was the Echo Portfolio Awards last year. We won the Community Special Award or Special Community Award from Gentoo, So that was the first time we met. I mean, it was only a fleeting meeting, shaking hands and congratulating.
Grab and grin photo,
Well, on that day, in that 24 hours, we won 3 awards. We won one in London on the night before, got the train home. We won one when I was on the train. I got a phone call. Got off the train, put a different suit on, come and met you, and we won that one.
Brilliant.
I'm never gonna top that, mate. Not just me here, like just the fact that we won 3 awards.
That's fantastic. It just shows you the difference you're making, mate.
Well, it's nice for the whole sort of firm to get awards, and it looks good as well for when you got in for funding, and it gives a bit of like legality to it all, that you know you're not like just a fly by night thing, that. And you're there to help people, and that's great. You know, it's absolutely brilliant. So, what are your plans for the rest of the day now? Since I've took up 20 minutes.
No, I've just got meetings for the rest of the afternoon. I'm not out and about today. Just catching up with stuff, and we've been back in the offices since the 1st of June, so that felt a lot better. You know, I'm not a great lover of doing it like this remotely. I like the interaction with people. So we've had colleagues back in work. We've opened our offices back up for people to come into for visits and things now. So that's another, I think, progress this week. So we you know, our focus has been very much on getting the business back running, letting the homes, you know, doing all the things we need to, catching up on the repairs, because it's amazing. During lockdown, you just, you know, you can't get the homes let. We couldn't do the things we needed to do, so catching up is a big job for us now. And we've got a couple of sites for new houses being built in Sunderland, so I've been out to see those, and it's just good to see them progressing as well. So it is, you know, just make sure we do everything as safely as possible for everybody, looking after our tenants and colleagues, but you know, just trying to get on with business, really.
On a personal point, how have you covered sort of cope with lockdown?
Oh, I'm, you know, I think the world sort of, for me, folded into 3. Those folk who have been really anxious about COVID and everything else. Those who are not too mindful, and some others who are a bit, you know, easygoing. I suppose I fall into that latter category. I work on a basis that I do everything as safely as I can. I want to get out and about. You know, while lockdown was on, I was walking every day and just getting out in the fresh air. I suppose I'm a people person, so being stuck at home with the family was driving us all potty, really, because it's not a place I do work. You know, I want to go home to be a place where you can be social and relaxed. Yeah. It's not the office for me. I know loads of people are happy in that sort of environment, but for me, it's trying to do that. And I think, you know, people have said, you know, some people have struggled with lockdown because of the isolation and not having that interaction. And I think you can talk to people online and chat to people. It's not the same as being with folk for me. And I think I was going to the food bank to volunteer. I was popping into the office. I had to be out and about. I couldn't.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to work the whole way through. Just coming to the office, but I really felt for the clients because my partner and daughter moved away because my partner's high risk.
Right.
So if I'd had to stay in the house 24/7, you know, that would have done me no good. Like, I was happy coming into work 5 minutes away, just me and Claire. We did everything remotely. But I mean, on the other side of that is there's no point in having a service with crisis in the title and stopping when there's a crisis.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So really, I didn't
it's
have
too much of a crisis. Yeah,
I can't be handling that crisis. That's a pandemic. You know, that's not for us. That's not for us. Right. Thank you very much for taking time out and coming on.
No problem.
Obviously, these remote ones, just done on Zoom, normally like 25 minutes, half an hour. But I also do a live one, if you ever want to come on to that, when we can be together in the studio, you know, do it properly if you want.
No, I'm happy to do that, mate. If you think that would be of value, I'm more than happy. Just drop us a note. Happy to pop along.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Nigel.
No
Cheers,
problem.
mate.
You take care.
Cheers, man.